Do you want to learn effective ways to build relationships, generate sales, and grow your business from successful entrepreneurs, startups, and CEOs without listening to a long interview? If so, you've come to the right place. Gresham Harkless values your time and is ready to share with you precisely the information you're in search of. This is the IAM091 podcast.
Hello. This is Gretch from the IAM091 podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Michael Simonetta of Kibby. Michael, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Gresham. Looking forward to this.
Me too. I'm looking forward to talking with you, hearing a little bit more about all the awesome things that you're doing. What I wanted to do was just read a little bit more about Michael so you can hear about all those things that he's working on and he's doing. And Michael has a wealth of experience with product ideation and launching apps for the world's most recognized brands. With his experience in business consulting and app development, Michael founded Kibby as a social planning app that helps users live a meaningful life by discovering the best things to do in their own city and around the world. Michael is an advocate for living a well-balanced life and is focused on leveraging technology to fight social isolationism and help people experience what life has to offer. Michael, are you ready to speak to the IAM091 community?
I'm really excited. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. So the first question I had was if we could hear a little bit more about your CEO story and what led you to start Kibby.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for the entirety of my professional career, I've actually been a software developer. And I traveled to Australia last year and had probably the greatest month of my life, really explored it, discovered new things. And when I got back, I really discovered the importance for finding the balance in life. It's too easy where we can get caught up 5 inches in front of us on our devices, whether that be your, tablet, your mobile phone, or your computer. But there's so much out there and so much to see, so many people and interesting people to meet that I decided to start Kibby, build a team, and create this piece of technology, this application that really pushes people towards exploring and discovering new things in their city and also around the world. So that's a bit of the background of myself and the reason as to why I began Kibby.
Nice. And it's always interesting to hear, like, when you kind of take time away, it kind of brings you back with a renewed kind of energy and a renewed perspective on things. And it sounds like you might have had that experience when you went to Australia.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I have some family there actually, and just got to see they live a bit more of a relaxed life over there than we do over here. So when I got back, I said, you know what, work's great, making money is great, but there's something much more powerful in going out and meeting new people, trying new things, and truly becoming the architect of your own life and living your best life. And that's really what pushed me towards starting and kicking off Kibby.
Nice. And I love when you get the opportunity to go on vacations and you get to experience all the things like you mentioned that you did in Australia. So I wanted to drill down a little bit deeper and hear a little bit more about Kibby, what It does, what it provides for people that are downloading the app.
Yeah, absolutely. So the app is called Kibby, spelled Kibbii. And we're really working towards, building a community. We're here in Toronto, Canada, and we're starting to build a community here, but also around the world. And like I said, drive people towards truly being the architect of their own life. Now, how does the mobile application do that? We do that by providing them over 350 categories, whether those categories fall in the active section, arts and entertainment, nightlife, tours, classes, food and restaurants, etc. And there's just so much out there in your city, and like I said, around the world, that we just simply don't know about. And we wanted to provide all this information at our users and our community's fingertips for them to truly find things that they never thought they would love to do, but they would love to do them if they just gave them a shot and found out where they are, where they're located.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I love how, on the app, there's just like you mentioned, there's so many different categories and things that people can do that I didn't even think about things that it could do. And, you should never have a reason for being bored, so to speak.
That's exactly it. And what our slogan right now is, life's too short to be boring. Let's try something new. And, let's be honest, we all got our go-to places. Like, I like to go to the same kind of bar with, my friends every once in a while. But, there's power in kind of changing your routine and taking yourself outside of your comfort zone. So that's what we're trying to do here. Just want to kind of point out that the app right now is still in its MVP stage, MVP standing for minimum viable product. So just our core features. But in the coming months, we have version 2.0 with all these crazy, awesome features that are really going to help users find stuff that we believe they're looking for. So yeah, really excited for that.
Nice. And it's great to hear, you mentioned the lean startup and the MVP and the aspect of kind of growing and building it out. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about like what I call your secret sauce. And this might be for your app and your business as it is now, or maybe something that you see down the line when it becomes a little bit more developed as you foresee it being.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of people talk about, what's your USP, your unique selling proposition. I don't actually like using that term. I like using the term UVP, your unique value proposition. So I like to talk about, what's the value that we're bringing to the community? What's the solution that we're providing? And simply what that is exploring and discovering. Right now in our core feature MVP state, it does align with some of the other apps out there, like your Yelp or your Foursquare. But later iterations, we're going to be building out features, and we're actually got our developers building them out right now, which is truly going to, we believe, carve our own space in the market. And we really want to connect, not just help you as a solo find things to do, but you and like-minded people, maybe a group of friends. Like what's that dot right in the middle of that Venn diagram amongst 3 or 4 friends that you guys will all love to do? Yeah, so that's one way. I mean, you can search on Google, you can search on Yelp. Let's say you're looking for, you're a great sushi restaurant or a great Italian restaurant, or you want to find a cool arcade to go to. That's all fine. But there's truly so many other categories and so many other things to do that fall outside of those, that until you see them right in front of your face, you would never actually think, I'd like to do that. So you can open up Kibby. You can go into the active section as an example. You can scroll down and you can find bubble soccer, archery, challenge courses, VR arcades. And you say, wow, I had no idea that these things were available within, kilometers, miles of me. So that's what I think is the secret sauce for Kibby.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And I love the idea of, providing that value, because that's what you're trying to do. Anytime you build something, anytime you try to make an impact upon the world, you want to make sure that you're providing value. And I want to ask you a little bit more on Kibby, and how did you come up with the name Kibby?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting story. Throughout the early stages in the development, it went through a bunch of different names. It initially was going to be called First Date, and then it was going to be called Date Night. And then as you know how it is, you bring team members on and you start getting other eyes on the idea, and you start realizing this is much more than some sort of application that's going to help people find a cool place to go take a date out, whether that be, a significant other long-term or first dates. We said, no, anybody can use this in any social aspect, whether that's a date, whether that's going out with friends or family. So we were looking around and trying to find names that made sense. And what we ended up landing on was Kibby. And Kibby in itself has no meaning. But the fact of the matter is, you look at some of the most popular brands out there, you look at like Google or Facebook or Instagram, these are terms, these are names, words that had no meaning, no existence until they came out with them. And there's power in making a name or a word or a term synonymous with your brand. That's marketing power.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right in being able to build that and you create it into your own kind of word or verb or noun or whatever it is that you want, because people are doing that.
Yep, you got it.
Awesome. And now I wanted to switch gears a little bit and ask you for what I call a CEO hack. And this might be an app or a book or a resource that you have, but it's something that makes you more effective and efficient as an entrepreneur or business owner.
Sure. Yeah. I gotta kind of give a shout out to my dad on this, because it was a few years ago, my dad put me onto this book. It's a book written by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And this book is just phenomenal. It's he's obviously not around anymore, but it's made multiple revisions and made it much more modern. But essentially what what the book pushes you towards and teaches you is how it's not so much you or I, it's we, it's us, right? You work amongst a team of people, and it's not about pointing fingers. It's not about criticizing. And it really teaches you on how to properly manage people, how to properly have conversations with people of different types, whether it's me speaking to our director of marketing, whether it's me speaking to one of our iOS or Android developers or what have you. It really teaches me and teaches you in general, not just on a business sense, but on a personal sense too, how to properly get your message across and understand that gentleman or female on the other end, what they're looking for, what their needs are, and how to properly manage that.
That makes perfect sense. And I love that. I love that book, obviously. And I love how that kind of even overlaps with what you were talking about before, where you're looking at things like you mentioned, like the Venn diagram, where you're finding that commonality and on how you can kind of merge.
That's exactly it.
Together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you read the book yourself?
Yes. It's a classic for sure.
It's a classic. It's not so much a secret, but it's something that resonated so well with me, and it really helped me kind of change gears in certain aspects and how to properly approach certain things.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense.
One more piece, something a bit more modern, and I'm personally in love with this guy. He's just no nonsense. I love, when you're on that long drive, I love listening to music like everybody else, but there's power in, putting on an informative podcast. And I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk and his podcast. He's just no nonsense, right to the point. And he's just all about, if you really want something, actions speak louder than words. It's not about saying, I want millions and millions of dollars. I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I want to be a successful CEO. Then take the proper steps to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary V is definitely, straight, no chasers. And when some people are so like kind of theory, and not to say that that's not important in putting those things in place, sometimes you just have to put the pedal to the metal and take action.
That's right.
Somebody that motivates you to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm a big believer of that. I understand, in some cases, a little bit of fluff is necessary, but, for me, what works best is that right to the point, no nonsense, no BS. It really resonates.
Yeah, me too. So now I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO nugget. And the CEO nugget could be a word of wisdom or a piece of advice or something that you might tell your younger business self.
Yeah. I've had a couple of different ventures that I've tried out, and some of them were successful in smaller scales. But, when I think back, my nugget would probably be not one particular golden nugget or anything like that, but a couple of things. And that's mainly one, to trust the process. Right? Like Gary Vee says it all the time. These things don't happen overnight. It's blood, sweat, and tears that you got to truly put into this, whatever you're truly passionate about. And it's just not going to happen at the flick of a switch. You can't say it, and then it's going to happen. You got to put the work in and trust the process. With that being said, and speaking directly about Kibby, I think power in building a team of like-minded, passionate people around you is of the utmost importance. You are only as strong as your weakest link. Common saying, and you want to have people around you, always pushing each other, always checking each other, making sure that everything's in line, making sure that we're always progressing forward and making improvements wherever we can.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love all those CEO nuggets. And now I wanted to ask you for my favorite question, which is kind of like the definition of what it means to be a CEO. So we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show, but I wanted to ask you specifically, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Okay, what does a CEO mean to me? Let's see. I think a big thing is, what does CEO stand for? That's Chief Executive Officer. But I really like to look at it as the C in CEO stands for consistency. You need to be the one leading the pack. You need to lead by example. You have to be giving 200%. You have to be there when anyone needs it. You need to be up before everyone. You need to be leaving the office after everybody. And you need to have your hands and understanding every little aspect of your business, whether that's, the business dev side, whether that's the marketing side, whether that's the tech side, whatever business that you are running, whether that's the product side, the manufacturing side, what have you. Yeah, I would say it's all about consistency, not missing a beat, not missing a day, and just staying on top of things. Being a leader for, if you're in a startup, especially when new people join the company, it's not a corporation. There's transparency. They see the CEO, that new person that's brought on as the digital marketing specialist, as an example, still interacts with the CEO on a daily basis. Whereas in a large corporation, there's that disconnect. So you need to be a leader and you need to lead by example all the time. And that's what being a CEO means to me.
I love that definition, Michael. And I truly appreciate you for taking some time out of your schedule to speak with us and tell us a little bit about all the awesome things that you're doing. And what I want to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, to see if there's anything additional you want to let our readers and our listeners know, and also how best people can get a hold of you and download your app.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, the app's called Kibby. That's Kibbii. I'd love for everyone to download the app and join us on this journey. Follow us on social. That's at Kibby app on Facebook, on Instagram, and all the other popular social platforms. I think we got a really good thing going right now. We're still in our early stages, but we're really looking forward to the future. We got some really, really super cool things coming. And yeah, I'd love to download the app. It's available on the App Store and Google Play. And follow us on social. You'll always be updated. We have great blog content that comes out multiple blogs a week. We follow current events like TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, kicks off today, actually. So we're all over that. And just give us a follow and join us on the journey. I promise you guys won't be disappointed. It's a fun ride. We're very personable. There's complete transparency, and you get to know a little bit more about us, the different team members, who we are as people, and why we're doing this. And we're excited, and we hope that you guys are as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael, again. And I truly appreciate you for all you're doing and what you're doing to kind of help fight social isolationism and all these awesome things that you're putting in place. So I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Awesome. Thanks so much. You too.
Thank you for listening to the I Am CEO podcast powered by Blue 16 Media. Tune in next time and visit us at IAM091.co. I Am CEO is not just a phrase, it's a community. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. Grab CEO gear at www.ceogear.co. This has been the I Am CEO podcast with Gresham Harkless. Thank you for listening.